What do you think you can do differently right now inside of your business that can take you to those 8 deals opposed to the 3 or 5 that you're getting now?
Change your environment. Power is in proximity, because every business is different that we work with.
Yes.
Right? Everyone has different business problems. So it may not be get a new marketing system in to get you to $1 million. It may just be let's get an operator, or let's get a couple more VAs to help with the personnel side of your business.
Welcome back to another episode of the Millionaire Essentials podcast, where we give you guys all the essentials to be a millionaire. You know, it's one of your hosts, Brandon the Provider.
Yes, sir. And it's Tevin Facey. And today we have a special guest, y'all. Today we have Kyle.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Every time we have special guests.
Well,
Today we have a unique guest.
I mean, you're a special guest as well. So,
Today we have a unique guest.
Yes.
We got our guy Kyle. What's going on, Kyle?
What's going on, Brandon, Tevin? Thanks for having me on.
yes, sir.
Took a little trip over here, right?
I did, from warmer weather. You guys I had to bring my hoodie here.
Wait, no. You caught us on an off day. I ain't gonna. The last couple of days, it's been real nice.
I thought it was spring, fellas. What's good?
No.
Well, New York is always off days. It could be 80 one day and then 30 the next day.
Exactly.
In the same day too. It's not even the next day. You can have 80 and 30 in the same day.
Yeah, believe me, I haven't forgotten about my days in Boston. Don't worry.
So you're from Boston.
I'm from Boston. Well, from Connecticut. Lived in Boston for 10 years. I'm kind of a New England mutt, as I say, and now I live in Miami, bro. So I can't figure it out. But I'm happy in Miami. I'm happy 2 years, almost 3 years, and I don't see myself moving out of Florida anytime soon.
Oh man.
So before we got started, right, we was actually having a crazy, interesting conversation, right? So you're up here for a reason. So for the people out there, who is Kyle and what do you do?
Yeah, so Kyle Connor, guys, I'm a wholesaler by trade, and I've been doing that for 5 years. But through that experience, I opened up a call center, and I've been working with real estate professionals now for over 4 years, helping them source, find, and close off-market real estate. So that's helped me now expand in some new initiatives that we talked about prior to the call, which is now helping more on the VA staffing side of things and virtual operations. So not just in the real estate space. But
That's dope.
So we was just talking about wholesaling, right?
Yeah.
Wholesaling.
Hey, that's a great market right now.
It's a bloodbath.
That's what we was talking about. So I used to wholesale, right? And it's a dog-eat-dog world, right?
It is.
So break down, how are you wholesaling? How are you maintaining? Let's start there.
Yeah.
What's the wholesale market look like? Because real estate is crazy right now.
It's crazy, man. So I'm used to not be a big advocate of markets. I always was big on like, hey, you can successfully wholesale in any market, right? But I started my wholesale journey doing deals in the Northeast, right? Connecticut, Massachusetts, way different selling motion in those states, where then we shifted to Indiana, and now we've put in all of our resources in Indiana. Why? Just because we are avoiding a lot of friction that we had with sellers. Sellers are just, you guys know, being up here in the Northeast in New York, it's just tough dealing with sellers up here. Right, so we started shifting more into Indiana. We started seeing our average deal sizes go up even, which is crazy. We started seeing the volume of deals go up, just much easier sales motions. So we started pivoting our wholesale operation now to these Midwestern markets and areas where we feel are more opportunity zones. So it's very hard to source deals right now. It costs us about $3,500 every deal, but we're making right now about $12 grand every deal. So we're 4Xing our marketing, which is great. Right. But again, like we said, man, it's a bloodbath out there. Everyone wants to be in the wholesale space.
Yes.
So we can talk about some KPIs and everything for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. And you know what's crazy right now, especially just with the real estate market, right? It's with all these private equities and hedge funds, they're buying up a lot of everything.
Dude, we have one right now we sold 8 deals to in Indiana. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. And they're going to those Midwest states, right?
Yep.
Because it's a lot easier, and they want to get a bigger pool.
Oh, exactly. They want to be able to acquire with less risk, obviously, right? Because buying deals up, it's hard to buy good deals right now, right? So everyone's flocking to these areas where the median home, and that's what it really boils down to, is I'm looking at markets with median home prices of at most 300K, like at most 300K and below. Yeah, if you play in those bigger spaces, yes, you can get land larger deals. But the big thing with wholesaling is cash conversion, right? How quickly can I get my marketing spend back into my business?
Yes.
Right. And you're only as good as your next deal with wholesaling. So for me, I want to avoid long sales cycles as a wholesaler. I want quicker wins. I just want to see cash coming into my business, so then I can ultimately invest. That's the play.
Hey man, I that's one part of real estate that I've never really delved into. I know Brandon said he did, but I think especially now, right, with a lot of the wholesalers that are online, right, I think a lot of people don't show much about it.
Right.
And I think with you speaking about those, like, just small things that you speak about when you're talking about wholesaling.
Oh my God, yeah.
It can ultimately turn into something that's better for people that are getting into wholesale.
Correct.
Right. So it's just like the KPIs, understanding cash conversion, things like that.
Absolutely. That's what we definitely consult a lot of that for new wholesalers and new investors that are just getting started. I get questions all the time about which market should I be in? What everyone overthinks about, like, the market's going to be the reason why they all of a sudden become a millionaire. Yeah, to a degree that's important. Absolutely. But then there's the stuff around systems, consistency in marketing, the KPIs you got to hit to be successful in any wholesale market. Right. So we help to, now being 4 years in the business, we have so much data. We've operated in 44 different states. We've literally done 7 million dials last year alone, talked to 500,000 sellers last year, and we skip traced over 3 million records. So we have all this great data now that we can start to figure out, okay, what markets are going to be conducive to quicker wins for new wholesalers? What places can we start directing people so that they can actually see success earlier on?
Yeah, no, you're doing an amazing job. Obviously his company didn't. He didn't really do it.
Well, tell me, Brandon, what was that like? What was
and
the
the
wholesale?
reason why I needed somebody like a Kyle Connor, what's great about what you do is systems.
Yes.
You had the experience, you got all the data, and now you created the systems that you created are done for you, where now you're solving the problems for wholesalers, former wholesalers like me that had an issue with systems. We was doing everything ourselves. We was pulling the leads, pulling all the lists, making the calls, hiring, 1 or 2 VAs to make calls. We needed the closers. We needed acquisitions. Right. So we didn't have all of the systems in place to be fully successful. So that's why, we ended up stopping. Mm-hmm. But somebody like you who now has the systems in place, that's what everybody should take advantage of.
But not only just the systems, he got the employees as well.
He got everything.
He literally has the whole system.
Whole overhead. Yeah.
The biggest issue we have nowadays is trying to be a solopreneur.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's why most of middle America is failing in entrepreneurship, because they don't understand you need to systematize and learn how to scale as fast as possible.
Correct.
Because the more you're doing in the business, the more you're holding your business back.
Absolutely. Facts. And you don't want to break. And what's even better, what we've really got excited about is, because I had to build my businesses with only virtual assistants just off necessity. Like if I could have done it, I would have built a domestic team. You're always going to get better quality talent by partnering with someone local or someone in the States. But I had terrible credit when I was in my 20s. I had no rich family or friends to start my business. I did it all on my own money. And I didn't get funding, bro, until literally 4 years in, but I got it like 60 days ago as my first round of funding I've ever gotten as a business owner, which is crazy, bro. I was literally using my own cash to build my company. It's super irresponsible.
But it's not. To be honest, it's not. And that's the right way. That's the right way people should build their business, right? Like, even with us, we haven't used funding inside of our business at all.
I'm gonna switch that up though. I'm not gonna say it's the right way in totality, but it's a good way because it teaches you discipline.
Yes,
how to
it
manage
does.
money.
Correct.
Yes, and it keeps you within those principles that you have when you're growing that business, or even when you're in the start of that business.
Exactly. And you guys deal with it all the time because you have clients that are getting funding and they're probably figuring out, where do I do this funding? There's that analysis paralysis in the beginning where, if I was to get funding when I started my businesses, man, I probably would have spent that so irresponsibly. Right now, 4 years in, you're right. I think it all had to happen at the right time for me to get this funding, and now I'm executing it. Obviously, that's why we're here. We're doing some of this work. It's thanks to the funding, right? That now I know how to execute on the plays to get a good ROI. I didn't have that information when I first started, but it's helpful for, again, when people are just getting started, to have less risk when they can hire offshore, or we package our systems up in a way where it's not going to break their bank, right? We're giving them a done-for-you operation that is priced accordingly for new business owners and new wholesalers so that they can afford to get in the game. That's the biggest thing.
That's it right there.
Let me ask you. We were just talking about it. Now, a lot of us, especially coaches, are switching to more of a done-for-you, right?
Yep.
Because we want to more ensure the success of our clients, of our customers.
Correct.
So a lot of us are having done-for-you systems. In order to have a done-for-you system, you have to have the experience and really doing what you say you do.
Facts.
I want to ask you, how do you feel about a lot of coaches and mentors being super knowledgeable and teaching what they do, but don't have the experience?
Well, you talked about this on your story yesterday.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what you got to say about it, but I'll speak from my own, situation, right? I when I'm not closing clients, and I think this helps a lot when I'm talking on sales calls, is I tell them, hey guys, when I'm not trying to get you to work with us, I'm going and closing deals immediately after, right? I'm literally closing deals. I am a client of my own business. DIY serves my wholesale operation from the cold calling and the virtual assistant side. Now, I still spend money on other forms of marketing. I'm not all in on cold calling. It's important. It's outbound sales is an important piece to marketing, but it's not the whole thing, right? So I also use pay per lead. I also dabbled in PPC for a little bit. So I feel like I can consult from a perspective of being in the trenches every day, what gives me helpful credibility. Now, when you're talking about, and I'd love to get your take on that, right, is maybe you have some examples on your mind, but I think if you're in the seat and you're a mentee, you should be checking everybody what their resume is, and when they're not trying to close you, asking them, what are you doing in your day-to-day? It doesn't necessarily need to be in the business, but they got to know how to close deals. They got to know how a deal operates from start to finish, at least in my world. So I'd love to hear from your world. What have you been coming across some capaholics?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of capaholics. Well, you know what? I don't call it capaholics, right? So it's people that's great at marketing, right? There's different areas which you're great at. There's people that are great at marketing, great at selling digital products,
right?
And I feel that's where they should stay.
Correct.
If you're not experienced in the field that you're selling, you can only go but so far.
Right.
Teach how to sell marketing, teach how to sell digital products, but don't advertise yourself as an expert in your field.
Correct.
To call yourself an expert in your field, you have to have the experience.
Correct.
Now, you could be a great digital marketer of the field. You could be a great marketer. I have no problem with that. But don't portray yourself as an expert, because you're teaching somebody in certain fields, they're teaching people how to build systems, and you've never fully built the system out.
Correct.
But you know how to market it, which is great.
Well, they did build a system out, obviously, to sell the digital product that they had. It's just not the system in order for them to be able to be profitable or whatever in whatever they're selling or being an expert in.
So, for example, it's hard for me to buy into somebody who's only been doing their field of expertise for a year. There's no way you've been through ups and downs of where you're at in a year. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Correct.
So you only know but so much. So you can't say, I've been doing this for a year, I'm going to teach you how to build a 7-figure system. You could have made 7 figures this year, but don't mean you know in and out, because you've never been through the waves and been able to experience the ups and downs. So now when I go through a down market, you can't tell me what to do because you've never been in a down market.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you.
So
I just said that just to get more conversation.
Oh, you just want me to just...
Yeah, go ahead.
And that leads me back to Kyle. That's why it's important for these solopreneurs like you, for what you're doing, Kyle, to bring in that entire system. So as soon as people are getting these fields, wholesaling, real estate, it's important to, as soon as you can, when you start making your money, funding is not going to make you money.
No.
Your business plan and business model is going to make you money.
Correct.
The next step is investing in the system and getting people like yourself on their team.
Yep.
So take us through the process of, I'm a solopreneur, right? I just started wholesaling. What do I need, and how do I come to you and go through that process of really scaling?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first off, of course, you need leads. You got to have leads. You got to have a CRM. I'm tired of people working out of Google Sheets. I'm talking to everyone that's working through Google Sheets.
What's the CRM?
Customer Relationship Management System.
Yes,
Thank you.
No
For
problem.
anyone that's not familiar, I'm going to have to take my tech hat off. So thank you for the reminder. So yeah, Customer Relationship Management System. Every business should have one, right? It's not just real estate. Everyone needs to house their pipeline somewhere. It's your central location in your system that everything communicates with. Your team, your other systems, everything should funnel into your CRM, right? So we deliver a CRM. It's custom built version of Podio. Has automations, drip campaigns, ability to blast out your deal for dispo if you're going to be doing that for wholesalers. So
What's
it has
dispo?
Dispositions for anyone that's new to real estate and wholesaling. Thank you, Tevin, for keeping me honest. So dispositions, right? When you have to find a buyer and you have to market your deal out to a buyer, there's two sides of the coin for wholesaling. Number one, there's acquisition side. You're acquiring the contract. And then the second side of the coin is you got to find a qualified buyer to buy that contract, right? But both take time, both take systems, both take as aggressive outreach as it does in getting a seller on board, right? I've seen that shift right now, and the market is, dispositions is equally as important, but not to get too far on that. So with the system, they're going to get a CRM that allows them to communicate with their sellers and communicate with their buyers at scale, which is important. That's number one as a wholesaler. Then we're going to give them the personnel, right? Where they don't have to worry about hiring, managing, VA turnover, whether or not their VA is going to show up, if there's going to be a typhoon and they're not going to be able to make it today. There's none of that worry, right? So we have all the personnel ready to go to deliver the service for data, systems, and lead gen. And that brings me to my third piece, which is data, right? You talked about it, Brennan. How much time do you think you spent having to sift through data, build your lists, skip trace, clean up your list? It's crazy, right? And people don't realize how much of that takes away from their ability just to close deals. So when I created this business, what I wanted to do is I wanted to say, okay, what are the things that people struggle with? Tech is number one. Not a lot of people are tech savvy, especially old investors with a lot of money. They're really good at real estate, but they don't understand the system side. So number one is we wanted to help them with tech, systems integration, and tech management. That's completely off their plate. Number two was the data side of it, right? Now, and then three was the lead gen side. And we do cold calling, so it requires them to have large data sets. So that's just our style of marketing. So those are the three components, man. When they come on board, they all of a sudden get a complete data, systems, and lead generation all in one in less than 3 business days launched into their business. That's why we love working with solopreneurs, is because you can go from literally having no infrastructure, none of those sides of the house, to all of a sudden having a legit business in a matter of 3 days, which is powerful.
That's amazing. Before we continue on, right? Yep. I think we have to do this and figure out who is Kyle and how did you get here?
I love
that. Because obviously to get to who you are now, be so tech heavy, be understanding of business, foundational things that are necessary in order for you to be successful.
Yep.
Who are you and how did you get here?
Yeah, thanks for the question, man. So, I started my business career out of school 8 years. It was 9 years ago, actually.
So you went to college?
I went to college, yep. Graduated college, yep. I graduated with my MBA, which I was on a podcast last week, and he asked me, what did you learn from your MBA? And I was blown away. I was like, I can't remember shit, bro.
Let's go back to our conversation. You played ball in college?
I played a little bit, yeah.
You didn't play D4 like him, right?
No. I probably played D5. No, honestly, bro, I walked on. I was lucky to get onto a team.
You tall enough. That's all they're looking for sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So I played for a year, and I got that off my checklist. But that was my history, was sports. I graduated as a sports management major. I wanted to work in pro sports until I figured out they make 30, 40K a year. What the fuck? I'm not gonna get my return on investment back. So I got my MBA, and that led me to going to work for the startup company selling cybersecurity software. Now that's when the tech info and I started to learn the power of cloud software and data. Everything's moving to the cloud back then.
Because I was trying to figure out where did the data piece come in, because for anybody that's wholesaling, they don't think about data.
No.
They just think about the money aspect or at least having some type of system.
Correct.
And it's really, really a numbers game. I learned that a while ago. So I used to think when I started wholesale, when I was in the middle of it, I used to think, it's real estate. I got to know all this about real estate. And then I met a guy who buys wholesaling companies. All he does is analyze the numbers. He's not even a real estate guy.
Yep.
So then that's when I realized it's really just a numbers game. You got to know data and numbers.
It's crazy. And you have to have that engine, right? You have to have a marketing engine. And my mentor said, don't mix in another marketing channel until you get to 100K consistently with one. So that's why I just got so good at cold call marketing. Then I got really good at SMS marketing, and those were the outbound channels I used.
So you were talking about cybersecurity?
So I was yep. So cybersecurity is where I got that really good appreciation and understanding that cloud technology and software is the future, right? This is back in 2015, 2016 we're talking.
Okay.
So then I'm like, all right, my company goes public. I got very lucky. I got about $33,000 worth of equity that vested. And at the time I was 25. I was like, I have no idea what to do with this money. What do rich people do? That's in real estate, right? So I was doing the podcast, YouTube University thing, Grant Cardone. This is when Pace Morby's coming up, Max Maxwell, these guys that really pioneered a lot of this hype around virtual wholesaling and investing. So it was finally time to take action, bro. And I started my first wholesale business in 2019. Took me 9 months to close my first deal. But once I finally did, it was 21K. What got me there, though, this is the light bulb moment, was I hired a virtual assistant to do my cold calling. Right? I told you it took me 9 months to close my first deal. Well, 6 months in, my brother and I were just hitting Google Voice with a cloud phone, ripping prop stream lists, and just smiling and dialing. That's all I knew. I was a sales guy. So, to bring this full circle, when we hired that VA, it was no secret that all of a sudden we closed our first deal 3 months later, right? Because we were having this virtual assistant make the appointments for us when we were working our W-2, right? We didn't have time to do all that during the day. So we just weren't seeing the progress because we didn't deserve success because we weren't putting enough volume in. And that's what it was. We didn't deserve the right to close a deal because we just weren't making enough consistent efforts in our lead gen. So that's why we had to hire the VA. Boom, close the first deal, 21K, got us off and running. But I was like, man, this virtual assistant thing, a lot of people could use this support. I mean, call centers and VAs weren't new, But that's what launched DIY ultimately, is like, I can help small business owners and new entrepreneurs with getting them, support in this area to start closing deals the same way it did for me. So yeah, bro, that's a little full circle.
So we ask this question a lot because you did say you got your MBA, right?
Yep.
A lot of people out there are probably not going to be able to relate to that.
Yes.
But what did college teach you, or did it prepare you for what you're doing now?
I would say more people and social skills.
Okay.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, people and social skills. Like, definitely just like doing what we're doing now, right? And
relationship building, networking.
Absolutely. And my MBA, it gave me it taught me how to like analyze business. It taught me a lot of case studies. From like a high level, it taught me how to like business fundamentals. But there's nothing like once you get started and you're actually in the day-to-day.
Yeah,
right? That's where I really got my MBA, right?
The experience.
Yeah, the experience. So like I tell everyone, dude, like my MBA is a nice on a resume, but I don't remember a lot of the things I even, learned. I'm learning them now, running a business. I'm reminding myself of a lot of the things they taught me. I'm like, oh my God, this is that case study and that. So it's crazy. But yeah, I would say join a mastermind program before you get your MBA.
So for people out there that didn't go to school, where would join the mastermind programs? Where would they learn that?
So
mentorships.
Here's what I did when I first started. Me and my brother were doing free RIAs. We couldn't afford mastermind programs, right? I couldn't afford a 10K mastermind program.
What's RIAs?
RIAs, real estate. It's like a local RIA
meetups.
Meetups. Yeah, local real estate meetups. And a lot of them are free, right? Go on Meetup.
They have a lot. If you're in New York,
Eventbrite, just go on Eventbrite.
Especially Eventbrite. Yeah,
just go on Eventbrite.
Especially if you're in New York City. So we were in Boston, right? So there's events going on every week. So my brother and I, we were hitting the pavement, attending at least 2 events, free events every week, just getting our name out there. And that in itself, what we learned, and then the relationships, we met our first buyer actually for our first deal at a mastermind, at a RIA, local RIA. So think about that, right? Just because we took action on a free event, that bridged the gap between the buyer that we ultimately found for our first deal.
That's dope.
It's crazy.
That's super dope.
So people just got to you need to be more resourceful. Right. We live in a time where there's free software, free events all the time. Take advantage of that.
I got a question, right? Because you went through the cybersecurity, you went through sales, right? How important was the sale aspect or learning how to sell to what you're doing now?
Yeah. So Brendan and I were talking about this. I started as a sales guy, not a marketer. So and that's the skill deficiency that I have on the marketing side. I'm learning that now is, I have great with tech systems, and then sales I was just, more because that was my pedigree out of college, right? So that helped me as a new business owner because I knew how to conduct sales process. I knew how to close. I knew sales questioning. And so that was always a skill that just kind of came natural. But it's now the game that I'm really needing, especially in the world we live in, is the marketing. Right? I feel like I have a great service, but if no one knows about it, it's not worth a damn, right? That's why we need the exposure. The marketing piece is now where I'm, putting a lot of my time and resources.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's super important, especially nowadays. And I think that's in every business, especially now.
Yeah.
That we need sales, we need marketing to be one of the foundational things that are taught to us, opposed to, hey, understanding what your KPIs are and things like that.
Yep.
I think that is going to come with experience, but as far as sales and marketing, that is something that's super important, especially nowadays.
Oh yeah, you get your first $1 million sales and marketing.
Exactly.
I
think that needs to be taught in schools with kids.
And then the 10 million comes with the systems, KPIs, all the foundational steps and things that are necessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that, right? Because you're very smart. You got a little salesy voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, he does. No, it's super sales.
Let's cut to the
super
chase.
Sales voice.
We want people to think this is a sales pitch, right?
No.
So I'm making 5 to 10K on my own, right? So I come to your system. Let's go through some numbers. What is that going to do for me? I'm already making 5 to 10K by myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I go to Kyle. I get with you. You get some systems. Where is that going to take me?
Yeah. So right now, what we're seeing as far as number of leads per contract is depending on the market. Like last year was for me and my business, it was 1 in every 16 leads converted to a contract. We closed a deal in 1 in every 31 leads. Now that was in Indiana. That was with SMS and cold call marketing. Those were our numbers for those marketing channels.
What's the overhead for something like that?
So our average cost per deal was $3,500. Last year, it ranged anywhere between $2,800 to on the highest quarter, actually, it was like close to $3,700. It was very expensive, right? People need to understand that this business takes money.
Yes.
All that start a wholesale business with no money. We're gone. We're not in 2020, 19 and 20 anymore.
Right.
So be prepared to spend. But again, the margins are great, right? I think I mentioned this. We make anywhere between 12, 11 grand per deal. That's 3 to 4x our marketing spend, right? That's where you want to be as a wholesaler.
Okay.
So you want to so for us, going back to our setup, right? We want to get on the base package with one caller. We're going to be probably generating anywhere between 30, 40 leads, depending on the market, right? So we just want to get people, and our tickets range anywhere between 2,700 all the way up to our completely done for you, which is 4,000. Now, my goal though is to make sure that people at least close one deal a month so that they can 3 to 4x their marketing spend.
So, okay. Your highest ticket, you said around 4,000, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the done for you everything, right?
That includes a closer. Yep.
The closer, the
dialer,
the CRM, the customer relationship management system, and the cold caller.
And the cold caller.
And all your data.
And all the data.
And all of your data.
10,000 skip traced records.
You're actually allowing them to keep the data. I think that's super important. People are going to gloss over that part. That you're actually allowed to keep that data.
Absolutely.
Because most people, they go into somebody else's CRM system.
Correct.
And then the data is not theirs any longer.
It's not theirs, or they, I work with a lot of realtors, right? These realtors, they go on these sites for these pay per lead, whatever, and it's like, they're fishing for a pool of leads that is just like nothing's exclusive to their business, right? We are building these lists specifically for each client. Every single record that we skip trace, every single data point, that's not going to another client. That's going to you and you only. So that's really important because that's obviously going to help with lack of competition, better quality opportunities. And then, like you said, because we don't do other marketing styles. There's a lot of you can use that data for direct mail, SMS.
Yep.
So I encourage my clients to say, hey, if you want us to help you with this, let's look at the data set. Let's take this data and repurpose it for other means.
Exactly.
Right.
So that 12,000 you just could turn into 50.
Yes.
Turn it to 100.
Exactly.
Yes. Because you have different offers, different.
Dude, my client, not to get sidetracked, but you talked about just like the ROI, right? My first client, I've never closed a 100K deal before as a wholesaler. But one of my very first clients, his second month, closed a 125K wholesale fee off one of our leads. And I was like, dude,
oh, man.
What? Yes. It was a deal in Boston. He was a developer. He knew he knew he was in his zone. It was a single family that could be converted to a 2-family. He knew that. So like, that's how he could get that big of a spread. But yeah, man, like the numbers, we always try to be conservative. Like you said that you don't want to be a sales pitch, and I don't want this to be a sales pitch either. I always like to tell people be super conservative. But if we can just based on data and numbers, right? If you can stay at about a contract in 1 in every 20 leads, you're gonna get your ROI. Like
what's the most you made a month in wholesaling?
The most we made in a month was only like 60K. We had a 66K month.
He said only. Well, only 66K.
No, but he, you know why I like that came off so genuine and truthful. A lot of these dudes in wholesaling or real estate, they be like, "Oh, it could have been you. It could have been you." But in wholesaling, they would be like, "Yo, I made 100K. I made 120K. This I made 200K."
And the overhead was 90K.
Yeah.
No, but it could be that, and the overhead was 90K.
Yeah,
they pulled a 300,000 list.
Yeah, no, and that 66, it wasn't consistent either. Like my business is 3 to 5 deals a month right now,
right?
And really more on like 3. We're trying to get to the consistent 5.
Okay,
and
that's actually good.
But here's what's great about it, bro. Because and this is why I preach to everyone: you don't have to create a complex wholesale operation. That's what I love about wholesaling. It's me and my brother and 4 VAs. That's it. I don't have any other full-time people. I have 2 callers, 5 VAs, 2 callers, 2 lead managers, and 1 SMS manager who splits part-time SMS and does disposition specialist for me. So he finds buyers, networks with buyers. He's just on my social media, just basically like blasting deals out, connecting and qualifying buyers. So, if that's a good business for me and my brother, when we're just paying a couple of VAs, a couple $100, $1,000, I think our VA that we pay the most is getting like about $1,100 a month. It's not that much, man.
It's not
at all. So like we have a very small operation. That's the way we want to keep it. And the goal is just to use wholesaling capital to ultimately buy and invest.
I'm going to tell you what's great about being consistent with wholesaling, because you have the key to the door. So when you're direct to the seller and the lead and the property, you can choose to keep it.
Correct.
You can choose to wholesale it. You can choose to do a flip. You can choose to partner, and you can choose to do whatever you want.
Right.
So as you're getting this cash flow, which wholesaling is a cash flow business, you can now start saying, out of every 4 deals, I'm going to keep one.
Correct.
So now I'm building up equity.
Oh, when you build, I tell people all the time, like whether you stay with us, whether you decide to work in other industries, whatever it is, like the skill of generating an off-market lead or off-market deal. When you have that skill and knowledge, like it is powerful, man. Because to your point, like I could go into any market I want and any asset class that I want. And I have the infrastructure to literally go and just say, like my wife and I are looking to try to buy a house in Miami soon or around the Miami area. I'm going to rip a list of myself, and I'm just calling off market so I can get a really good deal.
About to say
that's what I'm doing, bro. I'm not even
definitely not going.
Yeah,
retail.
I'm not going to market on that in that area. You know,
and I think about that when we was wholesaling, bro. It was so many deals, like it was so many people. I just didn't have the network and the knowledge that I have now. But we was getting mansions. Dudes was trying to get off of.
Crazy, right?
Like right now, it was so much stuff I could probably do with the amount of properties we were getting. I just didn't have to know. It was either wholesale or not.
Especially commercial. Commercial's at a discount right now. Everyone's over their
Super.
head.
Yes. Even in Philly right now, they have a lot of like mixed use deals that are people. There's super discounts.
Yeah.
Super. Not only that, multi-unit buildings in Philly, because that's the market that I'm going into.
Yep.
I see a lot of multi-unit buildings for sale, and it's like, why?
Just I think it has to do with the interest rates that they got in. And now they're coming up on, you know, maybe
it's the balloon payments that are coming up now.
The balloon payments.
Yes,
that's what it is. I believe it's the balloon payments that are coming up now, and all these people are like, I can't. This deal made sense at this interest rate. Now it's not making sense 2x, 2x, 3x the interest rate.
Right.
So that's really what it's coming down to, and you know, I think if I was to start over again. Right now, my brother and I we're realizing.
I was just about to ask that same question. I was going to ask. If you were to start again, right, what would you do differently inside of your wholesale business now, right? Because obviously you started and you're at the place that you're at now, but looking back in hindsight, what would you do differently?
Well, number one, I would not start it on my own and try to build my business on my own.
Gotcha.
Right? That's number one. And there's a lot of people out there that literally try to build this from the ground up and don't realize that there's services that are done for you that can help you get you off the ground a lot faster. So that's number one is I wouldn't try to battle through and try to do everything on my own. Number two is I would think bigger. I was just having a conversation yesterday with a wholesaler who sold his residential wholesale operation for $3 million. He was doing 1.5, and he was telling me, he's like, I did that 1.5, Kyle, with one buyer. One buyer. Wow. He was like, I invested all of my time on building a really strong relationship with these dispo buyers, and I was moving a lot of units a lot faster with this one buyer. And that was a mind shift thing for him, because when he sold his wholesale operation, he went into commercial instead. And he was like, I'm going to take my small win that I got here, the anecdote that I have with this one buyer, and I'm going to go find 10 to 15 to 50 really strong commercial buyers and players and just get really ingrained into what they're looking for. And now he's doing really like reverse wholesaling, which is basically going out and just building his buy box and his list based on what these people exactly need, so they can just say yes or no a lot faster, right? And his average deal size, he's like, we won't do deals now, bro, if it doesn't net us 100K. Now it takes longer.
Right.
You know, the sales cycles are longer, and he obviously, some people need, like for me in my business, I need quick, fast wins, because this is now this is fulfilling my livelihood.
Right. This is
paying the bills. Yeah,
yes.
Paying the bills. So like, I can't wait for a commercial deal 6 months out to close, even if it's going to net me 100K. I'm right now making the decision in my wholesale business to say I'm going to hit these 3 to 5. I want to get to basically eight deals a month consistently, so I can be doing 100K plus at least, and just rinse and repeat these small residential deals.
So what do you think is going to get you to those 8 deals, right? Because obviously you have the system, you have the 5 employees, it's you and your brother.
Yep.
What do you think you can do differently right now inside of your business that can take you to those 8 deals opposed to the 3 or 5 that you're getting now?
Well, definitely, again, hiring people to replace me, essentially,
right.
Because right now I'm doing my dispositions, right? I have a dispo specialist, but what I need to start doing is removing myself, ideally completely, from the business. In order to get, in my opinion, to $1 million, like in my wholesale business, I can't be doing all, even going against some of the things that I say, like, you know, I'm doing dispositions, and I'm doing some of like my systems management and maintenance a little bit. So like if I can remove myself, which I'm trying to take that dispo manager, remove myself, now I'm offloading everything. I'm pretty much just helping to be a business operator at this point.
Right.
So that's what's going to help me is number one is replacing myself from these remedial day-to-day tasks that aren't necessary anymore.
Gotcha.
And then number two is diversifying our marketing. So cold calling is a one lane that we do really good at. SMS is another lane we do really good at. Now we're trying to mix in some inbound.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the skill that a lot of solopreneurs and business owners need to understand. Learn how to manage.
Correct.
Learn how to hire and fire.
Yep.
That's where you're going to be able to scale your business to sell.
Yes.
That's where you're going to be able to scale your business to make millions. Learning how to be a business manager and not just working in your business, but working on your business.
Correct. Correct.
So I think that's one of the most important parts. So for somebody like us, right, we have like a similar business model, right? We do funding, right? We help businesses access capital to scale. So we were talking about it before here. I know your focus is in and out on real estate, on wholesaling, but your system with your VAs and your operations, can you take that and help somebody like us who does funding?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the powerful thing, man, is like we've developed such a great relationship, just in the VA space alone.
Because Tevin hasn't helped. He's supposed to do that, but he hasn't helped.
So you need someone to replace Tevin.
Yeah, we need somebody to replace Tevin. Yeah.
Wait, what?
We'll get someone in. We'll see if we can get Tevin out as an operator and get a VA in his place.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, I'm good. You're good. Yeah. No, but dude, that's what we're doing now is like we're so excited, and what I get passionate about is like the real estate niche is always something we're going to focus on. We're always going to be having this lane in real estate and success in real estate, and we're going to build off that. But now, bro, what's even more exciting is that we've got all these virtual assistants that know that we have a great home for them where they can get paid well, culture's great, and they're working with other people just like them, other VAs just like themselves. My company is literally 100% virtual assistants except for me.
Right.
So now all these
VAs, and your brother.
And my brother, correct. And so now these VAs are excited to come work with us, and now we have people that are at, businesses that we serve in the medical device sales space now. We have a client who's doing government contracting, and we built his back end and managing his operation. We have a client who built his Shopify store. We built literally the back end and managed his Shopify store now with a couple VAs. So dude, we're like, man, we can deliver value not just for the real estate space now. We can help any and all small businesses who need this type of back-end
got
setup.
you, because I know we've been talking a lot of wholesaling, but you're actually building back-end systems for all of these businesses.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Correct.
So what is your goal? Because we always got to talk numbers. It's the Millionaire Essentials podcast.
Yes, sir.
What is your goal that you're taking somebody? Are you 3Xing your business, 4Xing, 5Xing? What are some of the benchmarks are you trying to do at implementing your system?
Yeah, so for real estate, we have more control over their leads, more control over their marketing. So I'll speak more to that, because the other ones, what we're trying to quantify is time savings and the ROI with time savings. So I'm trying to now calculate that with like, hey, with me replacing you with a virtual assistant and a couple of systems that we've set up for you and integrated, how much time has that saved you, and what's the impact on the revenue numbers essentially. So we're still trying to quantify that piece of it. But with the lead gen, obviously we have more control. I talked, my best client would be, Big Mogul, shout out Ramel. He got 3 storage facilities that he got under contract for $800K, and they appraise at 1.7 mil. And they bring in $160,000 of cash flow every single year now for him.
Oh, so, shout out Ramel. That's a good plug for you.
Yeah, shout out Big Mogul.
Shout out Ramel. He's doing his thing.
Storage facility king, man. He's crazy. But yeah, I mean, we now have the setup to say, hey guys, we're not only going to get you your first deal, which we've done for so many people, which is so hard, right? You remember though, everyone remembers that first deal. Yep. It's always the hardest. So not only do we help people get their first deal now, we're helping them see with data and actual metrics, now that we have the whole business set up for them, to get to their first 6 figures. Okay, now when we get to the first 6 figures, where can we help to expand? Is it breaking into new markets? Is it mixing in another lead channel for you, right? Or is it mixing in more personnel to figure out, hey, because that's every business is different that we work with.
Yes.
Right? Everyone has different business problems. So it may not be get a new marketing system in to get you to $1 million. It may just be let's get an operator, or let's get a couple more VAs to help with the personnel side of your business.
So one thing I hear in what you're saying is your system, no matter what business it is,
correct,
you can build and grow and scale anybody's business.
We're trying to to date, we are best in real estate, but we now can serve any and all industries. And what we're trying to add more is the marketing component as well into these new industries. So not just calling on sellers for real estate. It's let's get these callers inbound. Yeah. And let's and let's start generating leads and making more revenue ROI metrics now for our clients with our service, not just in the real estate space. It's more
because you're taking it back to before COVID, right?
Correct.
Because before COVID, people had to make the cold calls. Before COVID, people had to send out mailers and things like that, and not just for real estate, but just for any type of business. So now, I think I started to realize this about a lot of principles just in any business that's been going on now. A lot of our marketing and a lot of our systems, the way how they work, is going back to before COVID.
Correct. Yep.
So everything, I guess, prehistoric or whatever, right? Because COVID, that was a historic fleet to everything that happened in business.
Absolutely.
And everybody had to change completely. So the fact that we're doing, and the fact
I think business principles is catching back up. So we always have different markets where it's easier to sell, easier to make money than others.
Correct.
To stand the test of time, you got to know the foundation of the business and business principles to stand the test of time. Like we were saying, the experience.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So there's a lot of COVID millionaires, and then now once sales start dropping, you can't sell a high ticket item no more. It takes a lot more money to put out.
Correct.
Then they're not making as much money.
Correct.
And let's talk about marketing, right?
Yep.
So how do you feel about? Because I know before, back in the day, a lot of wholesalers were behind the scenes, right?
Yep.
It started getting popular when the Pace Morbies, the Max Maxwells, they started getting in front of the camera.
Correct.
And teaching a lot.
Building brand.
Exactly. So that's what I want to talk about, brand building. In the game that we're in now, right? Marketing.
Yep.
Marketing is king. Back in the day, I know a lot of wholesalers were really behind the scenes and working on the systems like we were saying. But now, the Max Maxwells, the Pace Morbies, they made wholesaling and being in front of the camera cool. Grant Cardone.
Absolutely.
He makes being in front of the camera in real estate cool.
That's why I got in and so many people get into it, right?
So how important do you think is brand building on top of what you do matter?
It used to be non-existent for me and my business. We did not prioritize brand building at all for my wholesaling business. It's because we didn't need to. But now, every come and go wholesaler, everyone wants to be a real estate investor. Everyone wants to be a flipper. Everyone wants to be a wholesaler.
Everybody wants to be cool.
Everyone wants to be cool. Yeah, everyone. But so how do you break through the saturation right now? You build a brand. You build trust. And you do that in a way of intention, meaning like now when I'm on calls, because I've been doing podcasts, because I've been doing stuff for DIY in my call center, I'm pointing people in the direction in my real estate side of my business to go see me and go check me out on these, go watch my podcast, go check this out. Because now they're learning more about me, and now that's building credibility. Now they want to work with me just like sellers or buyers want to work with me now, because they just see, and
they know, like, and trust.
Exactly. And so what I'm trying to do is take the same principles and things that I'm working on with branding DIY and saying to my brother, hey dude, we need to be creating, whether that's a YouTube channel, mixing in more, like actually posting our wins and deals on our Facebook channel, the little things, like even just having an Instagram account that people can go to and see, like, we're actually, because we're closing a lot of deals, we're just not sharing it to the public. So it's like that stuff matters. That stuff really does matter. People want to see that you're consistent. People want to see, sellers want to see you're legit. So that helps them through every come and go wholesaler that we're seeing right now.
And being relatable too, because like you play ball as well, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you play ball. Like, you don't just do business. You don't just make all this money. You don't just teach. You play ball. You're down to earth.
Correct.
You could get dunked on.
I can get banged on, like I showed you before.
That was a pause.
He was 24.
No, we got to say pause.
Yeah, pause. That's a big pause. That's a big pause.
We in New York, bro. We have to.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was wild. That was a little wild. Well, he's in Miami now, right?
Yeah,
so
so we're good.
It don't matter. He in New York right now.
No, that's crazy.
So that's a great point too, right? Because you're actually from Boston.
Yeah.
So why the move, and what has that done for you? Because a lot of times, I'm guilty of it as of right now. I've born and raised in New York. I'm still here.
Yep.
But a lot of times, and a lot of people I've seen, and I also suggest for you to get out your environment.
Correct.
Right? I'm a little bit hypocrite because I haven't fully yet.
Oh, no. He advocates for it.
Yeah,
he's still right
because I haven't.
He's right.
He's still right in Queens.
But I travel a lot. Like every month, I'm like in a new city. So I'm out in my environment a lot. Right? When I'm here, I'm really only at home. Right. So I'm out of my environment a lot. So I advocate for people to get out of environment, especially new entrepreneurs. New Jersey's just like he swear he moved to New Jersey. He's different. This guy,
it's pretty much New York.
I moved to Jersey, bro. I moved to Jersey, bro.
Old New Yorkers that moved to Jersey think they different.
I'm different now.
Like I said, How important is getting out of your environment? What has it done for you?
Everything, man. Everything. I just posted literally on my story yesterday. I said, change your environment. Power is in proximity. And I really mean that. Like, power is in proximity, and it can absolutely, I'm not saying it will make or break your success, but moving to Miami, dude, and just having, because everyone wants to host an event there.
Well, Miami might be the worst place to move if you don't got the right discipline.
That's a fact. That's a
so that's what's, you know what? Good point.
Yes.
It's not just getting out of your environment. It's your mindset.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Because people think, yo, I just need to leave here and it's going to change.
I'm going to go to Miami.
Your mindset has to change.
No. Yeah, and I would laugh about it because when I first moved to Miami, I was in this building. I see all these guys with these chains, and they're looking good. I'm like, damn, these guys figured it out. 9 months later, he's gone back to living in Milwaukee.
And, wherever the hell he came from.
It's like crazy.
Exactly.
So like then you just realize like, oh my God, like, and people would make a joke, if you can last 9 months in Miami, you'll be able to make it forever. Like if you can just financially survive 9 months.
That's the same thing in New York.
Yeah, probably the same.
But when people move here, yes, that's the same thing.
Yeah. So like, but for me and my business and the brand, man, like now I've got relationships that changed my life and the trajectory of my business just because I went to a couple free networking events in Miami and all the big players want to be there. It's probably how it is in New York, right? You can probably go to we're going to an event tomorrow.
Yes.
Think about what connections, relationships are going to be made. Like that doesn't happen in every major city or town, right? So definitely get out of your environment. If you want to be a serious entrepreneur and business owner, change your environment, number one. Get out of your comfort zone, number two. And take advantage of the opportunity and be disciplined, like you said, because you can move to a Miami, you can move to New York, lose yourself, and you become then you're in egregious debt,
right.
or your business is no longer right, and you've made the wrong decision.
So I got a question, right? Because we have a lot of I guess formerly single guys on this podcast. Because some of them they said they were in a relationship, but they weren't. Whatever. I see you have a ring on.
I do. Happily married man.
So, how did that relationship take you to where you are now? Right, because obviously you're thinking now is completely different than obviously before. Did you move to Miami with her?
I did.
Or did you guys? Okay, gotcha.
I did, yeah. So my wife was born and raised in Guadalajara, Mexico. We wanted to get closer to our family, so we moved to Miami. Just again, it was closer for both of us. Now 3 hours north to get home for me, 3 hours west to get home for her.
Gotcha.
Yep. But I think where you're going with this, right, is how influential is that partner?
Yes.
I like that.
Like, because it's super important, right? Because I think when we have the discipline and we just have that tunnel vision, because we have somebody that's next to us that is there to support us and really help us build that brand. How important was that for you?
She was everything and still is everything. She's an amazing support system because and you guys probably know this, like, she's not an entrepreneur. She is not entrepreneurial minded either. She's just a great supporter, and she's very happy to be working her W-2, and she makes good money. But she supports and sees the vision for me, and that's the most important thing I can ask of her. But it's not easy. It's not easy dating a business owner or being.
And I was just gonna ask, because that right there threw me off. So she's a 9-to-5er.
She's a 9-to-5er. She's a 9-to-5er, bro, and a happy 9-to-5er.
So how does that play a role in the dynamic of what you do on a day-to-day basis compared to what she does?
It can be challenging, man.
That breath right there.
Yeah, no, and it's challenging because, because
I had somebody yelling at me yesterday saying, they don't want the 9-to-5ers. Was that the last podcast?
But that was women to men.
I know, but now it's a woman.
She doesn't have a 9-to-5er.
Go ahead.
No, well, that's funny that they talk about, because I think it's really it's very hard. It's very challenging. All right, but my wife has been open to traveling with
Why
me.
you laughing?
It's funny because I'm thinking about the more I'm thinking about it, he was right.
He was absolutely right.
Yeah.
I sent you the clip. I got to send you the clip.
No, that's funny. I got to watch it because I'll probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, it definitely. Yeah, man, it's challenging, bro. Like 9-to-5, like she's trying to understand the world that I live in. There's a lot of stress that I bring into the environment in the home because of just the stress of work and managing two businesses. And so we have to go, there's a lot of arguments that happen and a lot of disagreements and misunderstandings. But what I'll say about my wife is that she's bought into the vision, bought into the dream. She supports me. And then now that she started to travel with me, seeing me on podcasts, seeing behind the scenes, now she's like, oh my God, this is like, now I understand why Kyle gets up and does this every day. So like we've been able to understand what not to bring into the household, and I try not to bring my home my work at home, even though I work at home.
Right.
I try not to bring it into the environment.
Yeah, you just gotta go in a separate corner.
Correct. Correct. I gotta deal with work calls downstairs on the deck. Something different. Right. But but when the chips are down, man, that's what's most important. When the chips are down, because you're always gonna have bad months.
Yes.
And when you have a support system at home, whether it's whatever, husband, wife. My dogs are also a great support system for me. They're just therapy, right? My pets. That makes the down days a lot easier, bro. And you guys are married men, right?
Yes. And I got a question to that too. That's interesting. Have you ever worked a 9 to 5 for a long period of time? Like, what was your experience before this?
He said the cybersecurity.
Yep. Oh, the cybersecurity. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I asked him, because you're right. He was already there as a 9 to 5er, and he became an entrepreneur. So with her being a 9 to 5er and him no longer being a 9 to 5er, how does that dynamic work? Because you no longer have that security of a check, right? And you no longer have the security of saying, hey, if we are, and I'm not saying this was happening in your household.
I don't like you using those words. I think that's the issue.
Okay. You don't like it, but other people will.
I like it. So, I like where he's going.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? What words I'm talking about?
Security.
Yes.
I know that.
Don't use that. Because this is why. This is why I'm saying this. That's a falsehood that people think. I have security with the check.
You are absolutely right. But the falsehood is still going to be there regardless when they die or not.
But their mindset, don't have security.
You have to change their mindset first.
You have to explain that.
I know, which we've done many episodes. Even today, we talked about changing our mindset, right? Because they can go to Miami. If they don't have the right mindset, they're going to be there for 9 months and leave.
Yeah.
So I can say the security part because people look at it as that.
Right.
They don't just look at it as a check, benefits. It's security to them. So if they want to look at the check as being security, if they want to look at that job as being some type of security, then that's something that they have to live with and understand that, yes, if you want to become an entrepreneur, it's invigorating, right? We get to do whatever the hell we want whenever we want. But we do have bad months. We do have the things that are it's going to bother us, and we're going to relieve all of our stress by venting and yelling and just being upset, because there's a lot of things that go into this of being an entrepreneur.
Emotion. So much.
It's emotion. A lot. So if you don't have the mindset to do this, I'm sorry, it might not be for you.
And your partner needs to be on board. They need to be on board.
That makes it on board. And that's why I asked, because if she's a 9 to 5er and you were a 9 to 5er at one point and you're now an entrepreneur, I can see how the dynamics change and how it's a lot different in the house compared to before.
Correct. And we've been together for 8 years, almost 9 years now. And so I didn't leave my full-time job until last year, actually. I built both of my companies while still working at W2. That's why I always say, for everyone, like, off necessity, I had to build my businesses with virtual assistants. And it was so helpful for me because I didn't have the finances to do anything else. So I always, when I'm speaking to people that are thinking about starting their job, or like, they have an idea of a business, right? And they're thinking right now, and they're working their W-2, and their goal is to get out of their W-2. Those are the people I want to work with the most, because I lived and breathed that.
Yes.
Right. I literally built multiple six-figure businesses working and selling cybersecurity software for 3 years straight. Right. So I can speak.
And that was your investor. And the job was your investor.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. My first business partner was at W-2, right? Even outside of my brother. Like, so it was so important. And then when we stopped that, right, that was 10, 12 grand a month I was making through cybersecurity. I was making really good money.
Yeah, because you were in sales.
Yeah, I was in sales. And selling tech, you can make great money.
Yes.
And obviously the benefits and all that goes away. Well, now things start tightening up at home. Right. And now your spouse and your significant other has to adjust to that as well. Now, she's been very, very supportive and patient. And since I've been, almost now it'll be a full year of being in entrepreneurship, self-sustaining. But there's always times where we have to have some difficult conversations of things maybe we can't do or things we have to hold off on. That wasn't the case when I was working at W-2. Right. So I think it comes down to, man, like, obviously, like any relationship, you got to be aligned. You have to be aligned with, and I try not to tell her too much that's going on in the business, but I also show her enough so that she believes and sees the vision just as clearly as I can. And, the good thing is she supports me, right? Because that doesn't happen for every
And I feel the crazy thing about entrepreneurship is, like Tevin was saying, you have the freedom to do a lot of things. Like, he showed up wearing the same exact outfit as me.
Actually, no.
I don't know why.
No. First of all,
yours. Why are
is,
you wearing the same
yours
outfit?
Yours is acid wash.
This is what I don't like about entrepreneurship. You have all this freedom to do what you want. Yeah. He's wearing the same exact outfit as me.
You chose this. Who left the house first?
Now, like you were saying, as far as with what he said with security, right? And that's I just want to go a little deeper.
Oh yeah, that triggered.
That was a triggering word.
I want to hear it. Preach.
Is because as an entrepreneur, first of all, this is not for everybody. Business owner entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
No, it's not, man. No, it's not.
So he is kind of right with security because a lot of times with a corporate job in 9 to 5, we had the falsehood of security because it's created for us.
Correct.
We create our own security.
Mm-hmm.
So what you said is very, very important. While you were working your job, you built up your security in your system until you were ready to leave.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So we control our own security. We build our own system. We build our own program. Everybody doesn't have the discipline, the patience, time, energy, and effort to really take the time to do that, which is understandable. So you're comfortable with the security that's built up for you. Mm-hmm. But understand, we all understand America now notices they have no control over that. Going through COVID up until now, they have no control. So from now, I saw a post yesterday, to the next 20, 30 years, they said most of America are going to be freelancers.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I saw that same post.
I saw a post breaking that down. Most of America are going
to start 50%. It's like 50%.
Turn to freelancers.
Incredible. And that's the people I want to help.
Exactly. And you're in a perfect position because what you're doing right now is in such a need because you have the experience, you have the knowledge in every area from the college, from being a 9 to 5er to building your own security and now scaling a business.
Yep.
So what I want you to break down right now, right, if you can, the programs you have and where should a person fit in?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a product-led growth strategy, which has been super, super helpful for us. We started as high ticket. We started with a completely done-for-you service. We launched in 2021. So we've always been good with the high-ticket service. Now, we had a lot of people, though, that came to us that unfortunately couldn't afford it or just weren't prepared education-wise. They needed to build their skills. There was skills deficiencies where they weren't a good fit to basically have this done-for-you service. And so what we've offered is now a community. We have a community. It's both free and a small ticket, $27 a month. So for anyone that's interested, jump in. We're teaching everything from systems to
free and a small ticket.
Literally.
I got me up. I like something.
You like
something
free, yeah.
Literally. And we teach people how to source VAs, hire VAs, got everything from basically broke down my done for you service and just taught people how to build it themselves in the community.
That's a community every month?
That's a community.
Every month.
Yep. And we do.
And that's how much?
It's $27 for the elite membership. That gets you access to two trainings a month, guest speakers, and then we actually have just a closing academy that we launched. So every Tuesday, we have a coach that will literally close your leads live. So if you want to come in and you need help closing your leads, we will close them for you on that call every Tuesday.
Overvalued.
Literally. Crazy, right?
Overvalued.
I want.
I ain't gonna lie. The breakfast we bought this morning was like $25, bro.
That's the same thing.
It was a coffee and a bagel, bro.
Yeah, you want to know what's crazy? With these communities, and no, I'm sorry, I gotta say this: the people that are not purchasing communities, right? They're not spending on the monthly subscriptions. You use that same money to either buy lunch, dinner, or breakfast every day.
Yep.
But yet you want to complain to us about, oh no, I can't afford $50 per month. I can't afford $27 per month.
It's crazy,
I can't afford $100 per
crazy.
month. You spend that on a regular daily basis.
It's a mindset thing, right? So a lot of
Huge
people.
mindset.
It's two things. There's the people that falsely say they can't afford it, but they really can.
Of course.
And it's the people that think, oh, it's $27. It's probably not worth it.
Correct.
Yes.
But what people don't understand, there's books that cost $10 that'll make you probably $100,000.
$100,000.
But you're not
Well
going to
said.
open the book.
Correct.
They would never read it.
So you got to understand how to not only get knowledge, but learn how to apply it. People don't know how to apply knowledge. People don't know how to learn. And learning is actually applying what you read, what you just intaked.
Yep.
Hey, man.
And that's where the community helps.
And that's why we the 10%, man.
Yep. No, it's.
I know 1%. You did 10%.
No, we the 10%.
Don't say we. And he always with this we stuff, bro. You. I'm the 1%. You the 10%.
No, you not no 1% of nothing.
You always want to conclude me.
You more like the 20. I ain't gonna lie.
It ain't no we,
Anyways,
bro.
No, so
we the 10%, and then we get to the 1%.
I'll be damned if I'm not part of the 1%.
No, exactly.
No, he's the 10%.
I'll be damned.
Kyle with a 1%.
No, yes. Well, going back to the product-led growth, right? Once they're ready and they build the skills.
I just want to let you know, it's all hate.
You guys are going at it. Yeah.
So what were you saying, Kyle?
No, so I was saying
I can turn this way.
No, you're good, bro. So yeah, the product-led growth strategy is we did a reverse, right? Some people start with a community, or they start with a coaching, or they start with education, and then they start to get into done for you. I'm happy we started done for you because now I've learned, like you talked about, people being in mentorship roles that shouldn't be, right? A lot of people are like, why don't you do coaching? Why don't you do? I was like, I still have a lot to learn. Like, I do a coaching element in my community. I consult on the things that I'm a savant in: systems, lead generation, data and virtual assistants. But I'm not out there talking about how to buy multifamilies or making $1 million 7-figure wholesale business, because I haven't hit that. But I bring people in who have. Right. I bring in my sphere of influence to come and speak on those things and give value to the community. But once they're ready to make that jump, and they're ready to afford, or they have the skills, that's when they come to us for done for you. That's when they come for us for our investor package. They get the lead generation, they get the marketing they so desperately need, they get the data, list management, and the system. So that's where we help them get in. And if there's always an option, it's almost impossible for us to not help somebody. You just have to basically be one of those people that just want to not break out their wallet. That probably shouldn't be in entrepreneurship in the first place.
Right.
Right. That's just not for them. They shouldn't be in it. If you can't spend, I don't know how much you guys spend on masterminds, but I probably spent close to $80,000 on mastermind.
So I'm over you, bro. I spent over 6 figures.
Yeah, I'm over 6 figures.
I'm close to God. Yeah, right. And you guys go to college?
We've made the money back, bro.
I went to college 1 year.
He said he went to college.
Well,
but I went to college a little bit. I didn't graduate though.
I didn't graduate either.
Well, listen. I mean, look, you don't need it.
Actually, it was 2 years. I went to community college.
Actually,
it's 3 years. I went to music college too. Oh, damn! They got me,
bro. And I'm still paying for college. I'm still paying for.
Oh, you got your MBA? Yeah, you definitely.
I'm still paying college. Yeah, I
got a little bit left, but
I started with $80,000 of debt, and I'm down to like 30, I think, now at this point. So I'm close, but
I have like a different outlook on that. I don't like to tell people not to go to college.
Correct.
It's all about your goals. One thing that college gives you, I feel, and even though you don't have to go to get this, like you said, is how to speak to different people, especially if you've never got out your environment. If you're going to go to college, go away.
Yeah.
If you go to college in your home state, I say that was a bad decision.
I think
that's a bad decision.
I wouldn't
you stay stuck in the same.
No.
Mindset,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the go away part, right? Because I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, you're right.
Hey, I done went away, boy.
That's how you catch them Shannon Sharp cases and all that. You're right.
No, but seriously, you have to have the mindset to be able to handle being away, bro. And
it's hard to say the mindset because you're 17, 18,
it's about
19.
to say that's
you're not gonna have the mindset.
It's hard, bro.
You're not gonna have the mindset.
It's hard. So that's why I would suggest, if you are gonna go to college, and this is my opinion, if you are gonna go to college, maybe go a little bit later. You don't have to go right away, but maybe a little bit later. Maybe a little bit, just if you want to learn those foundational things, or you really have a specific career that you want to go to college for.
And you can get a really good education in a mastermind. I will put my kids in obviously I'll vet it and I'll make sure it's legit, but I've gathered so much from payment in mastermind programs.
And that's why I agree with you too. So all in all, we say we don't need college.
We don't.
And you're speaking to someone who paid for it, right? And
right, 80,000 in.
80,000 in, man.
Damn,
and I don't really. The thing that keeps me sane is that it got me my first job, and that got me my first major payday.
It's crazy. I said, "Damn, that's a lot" to the 80,000, but we spent way more
50,000 on a mastermind.
But all right, so you gonna do your rapid questions like you usually do?
We could do some rapid fire questions. Yeah, let's do some rapid fire questions, man. Because I want to know a little bit more about Kyle, right?
Yes, sir.
I know you down in Miami, but we want to know like who is Kyle and like what's kind of some of your goals. So we're gonna do some rapid fire questions, right? Okay. These could be random questions, right? It's gonna be between you and Tev because I like to hear what Tev's outlook on certain things, right?
I love that.
All right, so let's start. We're gonna start with you, and then Tev's gonna answer the question, right?
Sure.
What would you rather have, a mansion or a high-rise condo?
A mansion. I would rather.
You already know high-rise condo for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he's a little weird, bro. He got like.
I've been living the high-rise life too long. I'm getting bored.
Oh, you got a high-rise in like Miami?
See, that's the difference. I've never lived a high-rise life.
Okay.
See, that's the difference right there. It's the high-rise life. I've been in it for too long right now. I've been in it for almost 8 years in the high-rise life. I'm ready to get a house and quiet.
Okay. What would you rather have, a old school or a Rolls Royce?
Old school.
Like a Chevy, Camaro. You want me to say a specific car?
No, just old school.
I'm taking new. McLaren's my favorite car. So I'm going.
You living that fast life for real.
Yeah, I'm living that Miami life.
Miami guy for real.
Come on now.
I would. Damn. I think I would go new only because Dad used to have old schools.
Oh yeah, your pops was a mechanic.
Yeah, we used to work on old schools.
There you go.
We had him, so I've already gone through that.
Yeah, you've already had it.
Yeah, that experience. But they fine. If I didn't have that, I would go old school first.
I don't think I have enough appreciation for the old school. I need to get I'm not as much of a gearhead. My dad is obviously, but yeah, we lost that. We lost the handyman traits, unfortunately.
It happens.
When you go behind the desk too long and you lose it.
You know what's funny? All right, now that you bring up that topic, I'm fighting that in my house right now.
Are you?
Yeah, so we just bought a new place.
Nice,
and
congrats.
Thank you. And as you know, as an entrepreneur, we got to do what we got to do. But my wife, she ordering every and anything, and I got to put it together.
I was gonna say, who's building that?
Listen,
you can hit TaskRabbit too if you want to, right?
I've tried it before. I don't like it. The dude built the drawer backwards. I said, fam,
they just hiring people just on the corner now.
At this point, bro, he built the drawer backwards, and then I hired somebody else. I don't know what the hell. For the closet thing, I was gonna hire somebody. The dude never showed up, and now I had to build the closet myself. This doesn't make any sense. So I think in this entrepreneurship, stop asking us to be a handyman.
Yeah, you can't. It's one or the other. We're either going to be the breadwinner or we're going to fix things. I can't do both. I gotta just make money.
You know what? I'm gonna get to another question because I want to get to that right now. What you said, I overheard you on the phone. I heard one thing, and I think that's real important. What you said, because you've made a lot of money in real estate, and I heard you on the phone. You said, "I've never swung a hammer." Break that down.
I am the least handy person in the world, man. But I understand the power of leverage and other people's time. And I respect mine a lot more. So what I like to do is I use people to do my work for me. And I do that respectfully, obviously. Right. I pay or give them some type of partnership in exchange, right? So like with my wholesale business and just my business in general, that's why I'm so big on, really leveraging systems and train virtual assistants. You have those two in tandem, you can replace yourself in just about any role, right? And so for me, I don't do everything that I do for DealWise is virtual. I don't walk a property. I don't fix properties. I don't ever see any properties that I've sold in the last 3 years. It's crazy. So, and that can hurt me in certain situations. Obviously, I won't do that if I start investing. I'm going to have to physically go see that, right? But from a wholesale perspective, it blows my mind that people still go and walk their own properties. It blows my mind that wholesalers will drive to literally go see a property that they're just looking to wholesale. It's all good. It's all good, Tev.
All right, so let's get back to the rapid fire questions. Let's get back to
he was pointing at you.
Let's get back to the rapid fire questions.
If I'm wholesaling, I'm not gonna go see the property.
No, I get a photographer. I'm doing everything virtually.
You talk about that.
It just hit you.
No, but we're a part of the process.
I'm playing, bro.
I'm about to say we're a part of that other process too. Hold up.
So I got another question, another rapid fire question. Travel the world, all expenses paid, with little income, or be extremely rich but you can't leave your city.
Travel the world with little income.
I'm traveling.
You traveling?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna say that.
Yeah, think so?
I think he's gonna say that.
I want to know what the world is like, bro.
Okay, I'm traveling too. Yeah,
I'm traveling. Yeah, the world's too beautiful.
Nobody asked you. This is the question for me and Kyle.
You right.
What's the next question, man?
Have a closet full of dress shoes, or have a closet full of designer sneakers?
Designer sneakers.
I don't even know this guy's answer.
Designer.
Hey.
You're on a road trip, right? You can only have one station. It would be all hip hop or all rock and roll.
All hip hop. I'm a hip hop head, true and true.
What period?
It doesn't matter. Any period.
All right, I'll stay with hip hop.
You stay with hip hop?
Because if it's this period,
you all YN, man. You like a little. If it's
like
this Lil Uzi Vert.
If it's this period, I don't want it. If it's this period of hip hop, you can.
I got a quick question.
You can give it back.
If you can only listen to hip hop from one city, which one you choosing from? Music from one city.
That's the wrong question. It's New York.
I know you guys are partial.
For me, it's gonna be New York.
Where would it be?
It was gonna be New York, but I always ask people like, all
right, second place,
Atlanta. No.
LA, for me,
maybe
LA, maybe California.
For me, I think I'm picking between. Damn, I got 3 places. It's either LA, Texas, or Detroit.
Where specifically?
Yeah, like come on.
Oh, I don't know about
Texas.
specific.
Got a bunch of different.
Might be
sides,
Houston,
bro.
man. I think Houston's taking the cake.
I like. You know what? I think I'll probably go with Detroit.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably go with Detroit.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that.
Detroit?
I don't listen to a lot of Detroit artists, but sometimes I hear their music in passing. I like the beats.
Okay.
Remember I come well not
You're
remember.
YN, yeah, you're
but
YN.
No, but
Yeah.
drums. I'm talented in drums. I didn't know that until I was like 11 or whatever, and they gave me a scholarship for college. Yes, so I love producing and drums, guitar. I love all of that. I love their music because of the way they make their beats.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's why I like LA too, because
LA beats. I love
LA beats is fire. Oh my god, the producers. Like when I was younger, my brother used to do a lot of producing, and he would go to LA, and they'll send him sample packs back.
No way.
Sometimes we'll just be on a Saturday when we clean in the house, he'll just throw it on, and we'll just be there the whole Saturday cleaning the house, or not the whole time, but he'll just throw it on, and we'll just be cleaning the house and just listening to the beats and like, yo, if you add this, the kick here and the drum here. I miss that.
Damn,
I miss that. That's nostalgic.
I always said if there was something I could have been, obviously like take away professional athlete, it would have been like to be like Murder Beats. I like just to be like a sick hip hop producer.
I can see that though. I can see that.
No, you definitely like all the producers now.
That's how all the producers. Yeah,
they all the producer look. The hoodie, the ankles out. Yeah, it's all that, bro.
He got a little gold bracelet. He got the producer look, bro.
Yeah, he producer.
You know, bro.
He got the tattoo under, right? If you see the tattoo, look.
That's the producer tattoo.
That's the producer tattoo.
That's behind the engines. The engineer.
So what you got coming up, man? What you got coming up?
So I got something special for everyone that's watching now and in the future. We're running a boot camp actually on May 29th. It's to break down our 100K call system. It's going to be a 2-day boot camp. This month is going to be May 29th, but we're going to do it consistently on the last week of every single month going forward. And this boot camp, what they're going to get is they're going to be able to build our 100K call system, the same done-for-you system I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. We're going to teach them with the systems they need to use, the dialer setup, the VAs that we're going to actually bring VA talent to the boot camp ready to go for them so that they know how to they're going to get trained on SOPs and structuring, getting this VA in place and how to work and navigate a VA team. And then we're going to spend another day doing the actual data list pulling, getting their campaign ready to the point, and then we're going to get them ready to launch. Literally.
I got one question for you. Because I know this is a secret that a lot of wholesalers, they keep. And if you want to answer it, you can answer it, or you can say no comment.
Okay.
Do you have a secret place that you go for all of your lists?
No, I don't know if you wanted to.
No, I heard it.
Oh, you talking about the list?
Yes,
the list.
I thought you were talking about
the list.
Well, you talking about CRM?
No. Go ahead.
And I'm comfortable giving the.
Hold on, no. Go ahead.
No, I'm comfortable giving the sauce away because here's the thing: no one's gonna compete with me.
No, nobody's gonna do it.
No one's gonna do it.
They always write it down and then
no one's gonna do it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go do this tomorrow and never do it.
Yeah, no, and for me, like Revolutionize is the number one data provider for me right now. Revolutionize. It's expensive. It's $500 minimum per month. It gives you really, really good commercial data, and the reason being is because most skip tracers cannot find the homeowners of these LLCs or corp assets.
Gotcha. Right? And the
Revolutionize gives you not only the homeowners of these LLCs and corp-owned assets, they give you sometimes the secretary, the front desk sometimes. I'll see the property management company. That's what it was, not operator. Mm-hmm. They give you literally the property management contacts. So it's like when you're calling on these big deals, there are businesses that you're calling into sometimes, right? There's multiple people involved. So that's why we do so well in commercial, is because we have a phenomenal data provider with Revolutionize. That's the sauce right there, man. Look up Revolutionize. It's a great provider.
What's the
they're gonna give you a sponsorship soon.
Please
sponsor my
Revolutionize
man right here. Yeah.
I want to close in one more question, right? what is probably, well, first of all, for that event you have coming up,
Yes.
what position or what type of person should be tapping into that event? Where should you be at in your business?
So this can be for both brand new and experienced tenured investors. Right?
Okay.
Because we're going to literally give you the same setup and system that we've built for ourselves, doing 17 million dials, 500,000 conversations last year, 3 million skip trace records we did, which is crazy, and sourced 10,000 leads, right? All of that we're putting into a 2-day mastermind where you guys are literally going to be building it for these people. Again, and if they're a tenured investor, but they don't have cold calling as an element of their business where they've been thinking about it and looking into it, this is your opportunity to come have us build it for you.
I got one last question before we end. My fault.
Yep.
I had one last question, bro.
Please.
Well, too bad. My question is, right, how can funding help somebody in this line of business?
That was a good question.
Great question. So naturally, right, when you get funding, as someone who just went through it, then the anxiety steps in of what the heck am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with this funding, right? You guys probably experience that a lot, right?
A lot. Every consultation.
Every consultation, it's going to be, what do I do with this funding? Well, here's a great resource, right? We're giving you the overhead and the operations. It's literally a done-for-you virtual operations that you're getting. And it will cover all the things you do to make money with lead gen, the personnel that you need to fulfill that, and then the data and the systems to have it all come together.
Gotcha.
Right? So we're gonna be able to do that and launch in a matter of 72 hours.
That's amazing. So somebody can get $50, $100, $150,000, take that same money, come to you and say, hey, Kyle, I'm ready to build my wholesaling business.
I'm ready to start my flipping business. I'm ready to start
my
business.
Whatever it is.
Whatever, buy and hold.
Exactly. And they can come to you and they can get the systems that can actually help them grow and scale. Because a lot of people, they want to start a business.
Correct.
But if they don't have any systems.
Correct.
You have the systems. You have the talent. You have everything.
We have everything they
need.
The
data.
It's literally a no-brainer, right? And they can come and, obviously we want people that are going to be passionate about real estate. We want people that are going to be focused. But again, we can help with VA support for other industries. We can help with systems and data for other industries. We're already doing that now. So yeah, man, the sky's the limit. And anyone that comes, we want to hook them up. We're going to give them a special discount to anyone that comes from your community, your videos.
Hey, say Millionaire Essentials.
Millionaire Essentials, please. We're going to hook you guys up with a discount, especially for those that come through this video. So we're really excited to work with your community, man.
It's amazing.
Definitely. We're going to have the link in the bottom of this video.
Yes, sir.
We probably going to have to do a part 2 after we tap in with Kyle. He's going to hook us up with some nice little assistance so we can get our business.
That's right. That's right.
To that next level. Appreciate you guys for watching. Tell them where they can find you, Kyle.
Yeah, man. I'm very active on social media. So at the Kyle Connor, CONNOR, not ER, at the Kyle Connor. And then also my YouTube channel. I'm pouring a lot of money and time into my YouTube channel. So that's just the Kyle Connor on YouTube.
The Kyle Connor?
Yep, on YouTube.
Definitely tap into Kyle Connor on Instagram, at the Kyle Connor on YouTube.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell. This is a crazy episode with Kyle.
Thank you, guys.
Listen, he got the sauce, the systems, the excitement to get you guys going. Y'all better make sure y'all tap in and go to his live event. Y'all already know this is Brandon the Provider. This has been another episode of the Millionaire Essentials Podcast.
Yes, sir. It's Tevin Facey, and we have our guest here, Kyle, man. It was a great episode. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you for having me on, fellas.
Peace.